everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Poor Decisions, the true crime and wine podcast where we sip, spill, and solve some seriously twisted stories. I am your host, Bren, and tonight's case is twisted indeed. We are diving into the heartbreaking case of Alexee Trevizo, the 19-year-old who delivered her baby in a New Mexico hospital and left it in the trash to die. So grab your glass, pour up, and let's dive in. Now don't forget to take a moment to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Please show your support in those ways to help keep this podcast growing. And also be sure to check out our sponsor, Wine Girl. You see this shirt that I'm wearing? It says corks are for quitters. It's so on brand for Poor Decisions, right? Well, this is from the brand Wine Girl. And here at Poor Decisions, we are officially brand ambassadors. So check out Wine Girl's merch shop online at www.shopwinegirl.com and shop for wine-inspired merch just like this shirt and plenty others for my girlies. Use our code PD15 to receive 15% off your orders. And if you're in the Scottsdale, Arizona, Napa Valley, California, or coming soon, San Diego, California, you can visit their physical locations where you can visit and try different wines or attend one of their many cool events. So back to it. So let me let you guys in on a couple updates that we have coming here for Poor Decisions. We will now be releasing episodes every other week. As much as I enjoy bringing you guys new episodes every week, I have to slow down and take my time. There's a lot of time that goes into bringing you guys each of these episodes. And I'm talking about in order for me to do like full-on research behind each case to ensure that I'm bringing you nothing but the facts, it takes multiple days of research and fact-checking multiple sources. And I definitely want to make sure that I don't slack on that. I want to make sure I'm always giving you guys nothing but the facts. And then I have to plan and script the episode, which can then take a few days before I actually finally get to film and edit. So it's taken me a lot of time to kind of produce one episode for you guys. I am a one-man show. I do every single one of those steps by myself, and I also am a full-time employee. So unfortunately, this is not yet my full-time. That is the goal coming up. But right now, in order to not compromise on the content that I give you guys for each episode, I definitely kind of have to slow it down a little bit and take my time to give me time to create as well as to breathe along the way. So again, after this week, you can look for the next episode coming in 2 weeks. But again, there are lots of other episodes that we have to keep you guys busy. If you haven't watched them all, go back and watch them all and share them with a friend and tell them to do the same thing. But now let's get into the wine of the week. For tonight's episode, we are sipping on the brand Francis Coppola. And I have to make sure I say it right. Coppola. Francis Coppola, okay? And this wine is a Pinot Grigio. I have never tried a Pinot Grigio, so I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous. I did hear also, like, you've been drinking a lot of red wines the last couple weeks. We need to do a white wine, so here we have it. And it's one I've never tried before, so I'm kind of nervous about this, though. Yeah, I'm just really nervous. This percentage of this wine is a 12.5%, so let's kind of get into it. I'm scared. So on the back, let me tell you, it says, our Pinot Grigio offers refreshing flavors of tangerine, peaches, and pink grapefruit with notes of juicy pear and a touch of minerals. So it sounds like it'll be good, but I'm still scared. And it says this is goodly paired with a grilled fish, a spinach salad, or a light brunch fare. So let's see what Francis Coppola has to offer for us. And of course, we are pouring up in what? Our Poor Decisions wine glass. I'm kind of nervous about this. All right, so I'm gonna hold from the bottom again. I'm still learning every episode to keep doing that. We're gonna whirl it up. I think, okay, my little swirl's a little bit better. And it looks a little fizzy. gosh. It kind of gives me the taste of a Riesling. If you guys have ever had a Riesling before, and I think they say like Riesling is like a next kind of step up of a, what's the one that's really sweet? Moscato. Like Moscatos are like really sweet. And I hear Riesling is like a step above that. This kind of tastes like it would be like a little step just right above a Riesling, but it's good. I definitely get those flavors of the fruit, and I like it. Now let's dive in. Alexee Trevizo was a 19-year-old senior at Artesia High School in Artesia, New Mexico. She was your typical teenager. She was active in cheerleading and very outgoing. She lived with her mom and stepdad along with her sister, just living a quiet life in a small town. But one night, during the early morning hours of Friday, January 27th, 2023, that would all change. Shortly before midnight, Alexee went to the Artesia General Hospital with her mom, complaining of severe lower back and abdominal pain. According to the hospital staff, a routine triage was done where questions were asked to Alexee about what she was experiencing in order to gauge what could possibly be the issue. One of the questions asked was if there was any possibility that Alexee could be pregnant. Alexee responded and said that there was no way that she was pregnant because she was still a virgin. And her mom even co-signed that and stated that every month she has still been buying pads for Alexee because every month she was routinely coming on her cycle. Now, although they stated there was no possible way she could be pregnant, it was still routine for the hospital to still do a pregnancy test. So that was then issued. Now, the hospital staff initially started Alexee on medications of cyclobenzaprine and acetaminophen in order to provide instant pain relief. But after about 10 minutes or so, Alexee was still experiencing severe pain. So IV medications were then given. And the specific medications was, and again, y'all, I am not no doctor. I did used to work in a hospital, but I'm not no doctor. I've never prescribed medicines. So some of these names on these medicines, they be having some names. So I'm going to try my best to, pronounce all of them, but bear with me. So one was sodium chloride, which is also saline. Toralac, which was provided for pain and inflammation. Ondansetron was given for anti-nausea, and morphine for more pain relief. Another 20 minutes later, at 12:51 a.m., Alexee's pregnancy test results came back as positive. Now, these results were not immediately revealed to Alexee and her mom. The doctor continued to see other patients that were in the emergency room area. And we're going to take a sip on that one because this case kind of takes a spin where you don't expect it to go. And I feel like this is the first area where the hospital kind of fucked up at. So, well, we're not there yet. So just buckle your seatbelts up for the ride and let's keep going. Now, approximately 50 minutes after the results of the pregnancy test came back, Alexee told her nurse that she needed to use the bathroom. So she was unhooked from her IVs, and at 1:39 a.m., Alexee is seen on hospital cameras in the hall running to the bathroom holding her butt. She would then stay in the bathroom for about 20 minutes. And we do have some of that hospital footage, so let's take a look.
She said she needed to go have a bowel movement, and that's kind of when the whole thing happened. Yeah.
So what did you do after that? So when she went to do the bowel movement, where were you at?
Initially, I was at the nurse's station, and then at some point I went and kind of checked on her, knocked on the door, seen if she needed anything. She denied. She said she didn't need anything.
Did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Flush, toilet flush?
Yes. After a while, I started hearing. So I probably checked on her 2 to 3 times. I'm not exactly sure. And then I just kept hearing paper towel dispenser and flushing and like the water running. And I knocked again. Did she need anything? Denied anything. And then eventually it got to a point where I said, "You need to come out." And I asked the clerk to get the key to unlock the door because obviously she locked the door to go to the restroom. And whenever we finally had the key to unlock it, she opened it and just kind of walked out. And
Did she say anything at that
she didn't
point?
say anything. She was just looking kind of straight past me and went back to the room.
Did you look into the restroom?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did you see?
Went into the restroom and I saw a large amount of blood.
Where
And it was on the floor. It appeared to, like, she had tried to wipe it up in places.
Mhm.
It was kind of on the back wall behind the commode, the toilet. And so I said, you okay? What happened? And she said, I'm on my period, what she said. And she walked out. And then I went in, because at this point we had already received the positive pregnancy lab test.
When was that?
I couldn't tell you the exact time, but I know prior to that, we got a positive pregnancy test on her.
Okay, prior to the bowel movement, did you tell her that y'all got a positive?
No, the doc hadn't been in there to tell her yet.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah, so went in there, and I did look into the trash can at that time to see if there had been anything tossed, but the liner was fresh and complete.
So one of the nurses was going in there anyways because she was going to set up for them to do like, pap smear and everything. So she was like, I'll go ahead and disconnect her and she'd go to the bathroom. So I was like, all right. So she was in the bathroom and then Chris, which is one of our other nurses, he was like, because I was like, dang, she's flushing that toilet like an awful lot.
Oh, so you noticed her toilet flushing? Toilet?
Yes. And then he was like, well, damn. So I went and I knocked on the door. And I said, are you okay? And she said, yes, I'm fine. I'm just having a hard time going to the bathroom, is what she replied. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, push the call light if you need anything.
So you told her to push the call light?
Yeah, if she needed anything. And then, like, a few more flushes had gone by, and then that's when Chris was like, I don't know, because I told him, what if she's having a miscarriage in there and, flushing stuff down the toilet? So he knocked on the door and he's like, you gotta unlock this door. And then she wouldn't reply. And he's like, if you don't reply, he goes, and then that's when she heard him call for me. And he was like, Laura, you got the spare key to this bathroom? And I was like, yeah. Because we keep like a ring of keys by the desk where I sit. So I went and I got the key. And just as we were getting ready to open the door, she opened it. And all I saw was like blood everywhere, like on the walls, on the toilet. It just looked like a horror film.
Now, was it covering the floor, or was it like splotches?
You could tell she was wiping it up with paper towels because it was like smeared.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, the floor was just smeared with blood. Blood on the wall, like on the toilet and stuff. And
do you remember which wall?
it was like the back wall between the toilet and the sink.
In your line of work, what would cause that kind of splatter?
I think something that got pulled out or ripped. Like if you rip something and blood just went, it was like once you see the photo, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just.
So like you say, like rip, like something went like that?
Yeah, like when you rip something, or if you cut something and you go, like you swing your hand and blood just splatters.
Okay, so
that's how it looked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we just kept hearing the paper towel dispenser going and the toilet flushing. So yeah, when we opened up the door, we saw that, and then I noticed she had bloody footprints that she was leaving, going back to the room that we had put her in. So I had called housekeeping, which was Leela, and I was like, hey Leela, I'm sorry to bother you. I said, but I think this patient just had a miscarriage in our bathroom and she left like a mess. If you could come and clean it. And she said, okay. So she came down and she started cleaning it, and then she went to pick up the wastebasket, and then that she put the basket down and she yelled for me, and she was like, Lori, come here, the wastebasket's heavy. And I was like, what do you mean the wastebasket's heavy? So when I picked it up and I moved it towards the door, I was like, shit, it is heavy. So I pulled it out because it had like a fresh liner inside, so we didn't think nothing of it because we looked. So when I pulled the liner out, there was like paper towels, and we had rolled trash bags already in there.
Mm-hmm.
But she had grabbed a few and like balled them up and put them on top of him. So when I removed them, that's when I noticed the baby on the bottom of the trash can just wrapped in the bag. Like she had it tight, like because it was the top was twisted and then like tucked under, like so it wouldn't open up.
So basically, if you like
Like when you grab trash and you like swing it.
and then you fold it over to
Mhm.
like put it down or whatever.
Yeah, that's how it went.
And it was clear.
It was a
it was
clear
clear
bag.
bag, so-
Yeah, it's one of those clear bags.
So you
So it was a
saw,
hospital liner?
Mhm.
so you saw the baby inside the bag.
Yeah, and then when I picked it up, that's when I noticed it even more because all I saw was black and purple. But once we picked it up, like the bag suctioned to his face. And that's when I yelled for my charge nurse, which was HT. And I told him, hey, she put her baby in the trash can. So I handed the baby to him. And he took off to the trauma room and opened up the bag. And then that's when we went and got Dr. Vasquez
Now you say that the bag was suctioned to his
to his face.
his face. So was that from?
I think when I lifted it up, it kind of loosened, and so it just where he was still moist, it just suctioned to him.
Okay.
After Alexee finally exited the bathroom at 1:56 a.m., hospital staff noticed the condition of the bathroom. There was blood everywhere, on the walls and on the floor. Housekeeping was called to clean up the bathroom, but when she went to pick up the trash can to empty it, she noticed although it appeared to be empty, it was unusually heavy. And this is where the nightmare began. The housekeeper alerted one of the nurses about her concerns with the trash can. The nurse also agreed that the trash can was oddly heavy, so she removed the clean trash can liner bag, and underneath they discovered a mound of bloody paper towels, and underneath was another clear trash bag that was tied and folded. There appeared to be something kind of like purple pinkish inside, and inside the trash bag was the lifeless body of a newborn baby boy. Nurses and staff immediately responded, but it was too late. At 2:38 a.m., the baby was pronounced dead and police were called.
So we started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was denying that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood and shit everywhere. She was cleaning it up. Okay. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant and she had done something to herself. Mm-hmm. So the doctor started doing a vaginal exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it. Okay. So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just had it. She had it in the bathroom. Was what happened, and then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't even tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room, so nothing's been said to the patient or the mother that's in there yet.
Okay.
I have Leela, the housekeeper, if you want to interview her.
Yeah.
She's the one that kind of found under
Yeah,
the
because I
trash.
wanted to get with you guys first and then get with her
Right.
to get her statement before I even did anything.
Well, I'm the charge, and this is what has happened.
Okay.
You can interview the nurse that had her,
Okay.
the two nurses that were taking care of her. You can talk to the tech, which is Lori. She's the one that went in there and actually found it, because Leela's like, this is really heavy.
Okay.
So then Lori went in there, and then of course the baby was underneath the clean liner.
Okay. Yeah. If we can speak with Lori, that
Okay,
way get
I'll
her
get
statement.
Lori,
Then
and
I'll
I'll
get
get
you.
Leela.
I'll get you checked
So,
out.
officer, the first thing though is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable.
Right.
I don't know if she delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless. So I need to tell her what's going on, and I need to tell the mother what's going. The mother, they're both in there together. Is one of you willing to be present for that conversation?
And I'll go in there.
Are you guys going?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go in
for
right
sure.
now and do it. I'm sorry, there's we discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. He came out at me and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
But it
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth.
scary. It was not crying or nothing.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here.
I
Stop.
just put
Stop.
it in.
Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her up there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I need your obviously need your permission to transfer her from medical. She needs to
She's
be med-
19.
Oh, you're right.
But she is a student too.
She's
No,
still
no,
19
you're,
years
you're
old.
right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's 19. But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor and delivery. Will you please agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. In terms, I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we need to do this correctly. And I wanna be transparent with you about what our steps are gonna be.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying. Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? Nothing was crying.
Okay. So as of right now, like what I said is, we're gonna have the detectives come over here and they're gonna talk to you. Okay. We have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're gonna get the doctor's statements. They're gonna get everybody's statements. Okay. So I don't know everything yet. Okay. So I'm not gonna tell you. I can't tell you nothing, honestly. Okay. All I can say is,
Gonna go to jail.
right now she
No.
right now she's being detained. So she's not gonna leave from here at all. Period. Okay. So one of us will
She's
be
in
in.
your custody? Like,
Yeah, she's detained. Yeah, she's not under arrest, but she is detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this whole thing is coming up, is you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that. All right. Like I said, the detectives will be here. They're going to talk to you. I mean, your care is of the utmost right now. Okay, they're going to do what they need to do to take care of you to make sure you get stable. They get you transferred out or whatever. Like I said, the detectives are already been notified. They're already on the way, so they're going to come talk to you. All right. So don't leave. Don't try to do nothing. One of us is always going to be in here in this room with you. Okay. Unless we have to step out for doctor's orders or something like that, because if they need to examine you or do something with you. But other than that, like I said, you are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Where was the baby at?
I don't know. I have no clue yet. Like I said, I just talked to the charge nurse. We're still getting all the information right now.
The autopsy would later reveal that the baby had been born alive, and the cause of death was ruled a homicide by entrapment. In plain terms, suffocation, likely from being sealed in that plastic bag. It's crazy, y'all. Now, this part of the case is crucial. Alexee had been administered multiple medications before going into labor, including morphine, which was found in both her system and the baby's. Toxicology showed 19 nanograms per milliliter of morphine in the newborn's blood, as well as a weight loss drug that Alexee had been taking, of course, to lose weight. Now, that particular weight loss drug was meant to be an appetite suppressant. Now, later on in court, the defense argues that Alexee was not in her right mind, that she was medicated, unaware she was pregnant, and she was not in control. But prosecutors say otherwise, that this was a deliberate act to hide the birth and dispose of the baby. On May 10th, 2023, Alexee was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. She pleaded not guilty. Her legal team quickly moved to shift blame, not just away from her, but toward the hospital. Alexee's lawyer filed a wrongful death lawsuit, and not on her behalf, but on the behalf of her deceased child, against Artesia General Hospital and multiple staff members. Their argument was that the hospital failed at nearly every level. They didn't act on the pregnancy test result, like I said, they didn't tell them right away. They took a couple minutes to do so. They gave her strong opioids and sedatives despite signs that she was pregnant. Apparently, when she was admitted and they were doing their triage, no nurse actually laid hands on Alexee. Now, if we're seeing the pictures of her throughout her, again, she's active in cheerleading. There's a lot of videos that I saw of her in pictures of at school, and it's like, clearly this child is pregnant. Like, I don't care how much sucking in you try to do. Like, she wears a uniform that is tight fit. You can clearly tell that she is pregnant. But despite those signs, yes, when she was admitted to the ER, she had on a baggy sweatpants, oversized t-shirt. But I feel like anytime that I've been to the doctor and they ask me initially, like, what's going on? You experiencing any pain? They're touching me to kind of see, like, what's going on. Apparently, no one actually laid hands on her. So that was the issue as well. They also let her go to the bathroom alone, unsupervised, medicated, and she clearly was actively in labor. And they failed to intervene in time. The lawsuit also includes accusations that hospital staff violated HIPAA by releasing footage and discussing Alexee's medical information with police and media. I'm no expert, but I kind of feel like where it stands as a homicide, this baby has, passed away. I kind of think like HIPAA kind of goes out the window. Kind of like if you have a third, not like the same, it's not the same, it's not on the same level, but if I have a therapist and I tell my therapist, like, yeah, I'm gonna unalive somebody, yeah, they have that patient, client, confidentiality, but when I say something like that, they have the right, they actually are supposed to report that. The criminal case took a turn when the judge suppressed key video evidence, including footage of Alexee entering and exiting the bathroom and police body cam footage where she allegedly admitted to what had happened. The judge ruled that Alexee's medical privacy and Miranda rights were indeed violated. Prosecutors were furious. They appealed, and the criminal trial was postponed indefinitely. As of now, mid-2025, no new trial date has been set. So this one is a really quick one because this case, like I said, it's no new trial date. We don't know when she's going to be up for trial. She got arrested, but she's out on bail now. She's walking around freely. From other accounts that I've seen, people have spotted her out. They've seen her pregnant again. I guess now she might have had the baby. I don't know. But that's pretty much like all the hard detail, hardcore facts. So this one, let's get into a case discussion, okay? And for the case discussion, I'm going to pour up some more wine because I kind of drank. I still got enough in there, but I'm going to pour some more. But I definitely want to highlight for the case discussion that this is all my opinion, which is influenced based upon the facts and the information I have brought to you guys based upon all my days of research, okay? So a couple questions for today's case discussion. But the first one, which I feel like is the most obvious question, is did Alexee know that she was pregnant? And then also, did her mom know? So, there's a couple ways I feel about this. So there's one point in the video evidence that we saw earlier where once the doctor came in and told them that, we found a baby in the trash can, her mom got up from the bed and she turns to Alexee and she says, Alexee, we talked about this. Like, what did you talk about? But you had no idea that your daughter was pregnant. So what did you talk about? That's the part that I don't understand. What did you talk about? You knew it. You knew she was pregnant. Or maybe if you didn't know in black and white, like, you could sense it. You had an idea. Maybe she was still lying to you, like, no, Mom, I'm not. I'm just getting fat. I'm just gaining weight. No, I'm not. I'm not pregnant. But you kind of had an idea. And then when she says, don't you know what they do to girls in jail when they do this to their babies? Like, we talked about this. Like, there is some type of dialogue and communication that you guys are having in reference to this specific topic. And why, if it's a topic, if it's not relevant to you guys' lives? Like, if I think back in my life, I've never had this conversation with my mother. Even when I first began to, become sexually active, I never had a conversation with my mother about hiding a baby, getting rid of my baby, like nothing like that. So I don't really know, but I feel like her mother might have suspected it, but it just wasn't confirmed. And seeing how when you watch the video and the dynamic between Alexee and her mom, I completely understand, because I see young girls like this all the time. Like when I was younger, I had friends or knew girls in school who were pregnant young. So that thought of getting in trouble from your mother, my mom's gonna be so pissed at me because I'm pregnant as a teenager. Like, I get that. If it had happened to me when I was young, I would have been scared shitless too. And I feel like up until a certain point, probably till I couldn't hide it anymore, I might have even tried to hide that from my mother. But I wouldn't have taken it this far. Like, there's absolutely no way. So I also kind of feel like, she hid it because she was afraid of the consequences or how her mother would be. But then I just kind of feel like, as her mom, like, as we saw in these pictures, she is clearly pregnant. Like, she's clearly pregnant. She's in cheer uniform. So when she's in the house, and her mother had her, you had another child, because I said she lives at home with her mother, stepfather, and sister. Like, how long you've been pregnant before? So you kind of know what it's like. Now, granted, everyone's pregnancy is different, but it's just like you had no idea that your 19-year-old daughter was pregnant for 9 months. Like, as they said, this baby was full term. Like, she fully carried this child, and you had no idea. Like, I wonder, how did she get to school? Did you drop her off to school? Was she catching a bus? Is she just walking, catching rides with her friends? She's 19, so she might be at the age of driving. I don't really know. I didn't do that much research into her. I didn't really care about those points, but I just wonder how you cannot see this of your child, and especially for her being so active in cheer, looking like this. Like, even none of the other parents came to like the cheer meets and was like, oh my gosh, that girl on your cheer team, she looks very pregnant. And I feel like the way that other people's parents can be so nosy, I feel like somebody would have reached out to coaches or something. Because, some moms are like that. I don't want my child being on no cheerleading squad where somebody's pregnant. I don't want them influencing my child. Like, I don't know. My personal opinion, I think that she knew. Like, I don't know. And then also allegedly, this part has not been fully confirmed, but I have read in articles that people have interviewed some of Alexee's friends, and they have came forward and said that Alexee was very clearly aware that she was pregnant because they talked about it as friends. Like, she knew she was pregnant, and that she even planned on naming the baby Alex, which is crazy. Hey, say it might be a coincidence, I don't know. But after all this stuff happened and they were able to get the baby cremated, the remains were given to the child's father, the baby's name then became Alex. After, allegedly, her friends already spoke to some reporters and said that we knew she was pregnant. We used to sit around at the lunch table and we talked about it. She was picking out names and she picked Alex to be a fact. And then some months later, the baby's ashes come back from being cremated, and then the father gives the name of Alex. Tell me that's not a freaking coincidence. I believe she knew. Like, as a female, again, sometimes what you may not feel comfortable directly discussing with your mom and your parents and your family, you can freely vent to your friends. Of course, she was sitting there talking to her homegirls about her being pregnant. She's cheering with them. You're in high school. High schoolers are some of the most vicious, rude, blunt, straightforward people. You think they wasn't sitting in the locker room with her, watching her change into her uniform like, girl, like, you're just getting really fat right now. Only in your stomach. Like, no, they're like, bitch, you're fucking pregnant. Like, and y'all are talking about that, but whatever. Also, when she came to the hospital this night, apparently she had asked a nurse what would happen if she had stopped taking her birth control pills, because apparently she was on birth control pills. I guess she wasn't taking them regularly. I don't know. But she asked the nurse what would happen if she stopped taking her birth control pills and then started taking those weight loss pills, right? So again, she stopped taking the birth control because, duh, she knew she was pregnant. And then she starts to take the weight loss medicine to hide it. But I mean, her stomach was still the only thing growing, so it wasn't really working that well at hiding it. But it's common sense, I feel like, at this point. If she thought that she was just gaining weight, then I can see her taking the weight loss pills. But what would be the reason for her also stopping the birth control? Like, if I think I'm just getting fat and I want to take a weight loss pill, I would still continue my birth control unless I knew for a fact, you know, I might be pregnant or I'm pregnant. If you're pregnant, why are you taking birth control? So that only makes sense to me. She stopped taking the birth control because she knew she isn't controlling no birth. It's already there. She's pregnant. But switch to a weight loss pill so I can try to lose weight so I don't look as pregnant. I can kind of control it and kind of hide it for as long as I can. And I guess it kind of did work if her mother really had no idea that she was pregnant. I mean, I guess she did enough of what she was trying to do to pull the wool over her mother's eyes. Again, I don't understand how. Like, and I feel like every time when I watch court TV and they're covering this case, I think everybody has the same thought. When you look at this picture, it's no way that this girl was not pregnant. So the people around her, I feel like you guys did a disservice to her, where you did not create an environment where she would feel comfortable to come and confide in you. Whether she wants to have the baby or not. I feel like one thing parents get aside with, this maintaining control and this, I'm your parent, like, I'm so, like, rough. But it's like, you still need to create an environment that's comfortable enough for your child to feel comfortable to come and talk to you. That way, if they ever get in a rut or a situation like this, they can come and talk to you, get some advice, have someone to lean on. Now, I'm pretty sure with parents, if something like this happens to you, when it first happened, I'm sure our mother would probably be pissed. Like, fuck, you're a teenage pregnancy. That didn't make sense. You're a teenage pregnancy. Whatever, you're pregnant as a teen. A lot of people think that when you have a baby, oh my God, your life ends. Like, everything is just done for you. You've ruined your life. I'm sure she would have thought that at first. She probably would have fussed Alexee out. But eventually, that maternal instinct kicks in. And it's like, you know what? This is my child. This is my baby. She's going through something. I need to be there for her. So I'm sure initially you would have got that rough exterior, but eventually her mom would have caved in. And it would have been more so of helping her. Now, I don't know, maybe she would have tried to convince her to have an abortion. I'm not really sure, but I feel like, honestly, don't get me wrong, I feel like having an abortion would have been a better option than what they allowed to happen in this hospital. So let me know what you guys think to question number 1 of the case discussion. Do you guys really believe that Alexee had no idea that she was pregnant? Do you think she was blindsided that night when she went to the bathroom thinking that she just had to poop and then a whole baby came out of her? Like, do you think that she knew? And what about her mother? Do you think her mother knew? My second question, I'm going to take a sip before I ask this one. Do you think that the hospital has any fault in the death of the baby? So this one is something that's very much argued right now. There are people who rally behind Alexee and they have her back, and they say that Artesia General Hospital did not do the thing that they were supposed to do in order to save the baby, in order to keep Alexee and the baby safe from jump. And there are people on the other side that say this is completely Alexee. Now, in my personal opinion, I personally believe that Alexee is the only one to blame. But, I will say that, the hospital did indeed fail in so many areas, okay? First, it was the failure of ever even believing her. When asked if she was pregnant, I would have waited for the test to come back before attempting to do any type of treatment. Granted, teens lie every day. People lie every day. Teen or not, I wouldn't have believed her. Ask her, are you any chance you can be pregnant? Her mom, maybe if her mother wasn't in the room, maybe she would have been comfortable to be a little bit more honest. But her mother's right there. She's a teenager. She's still in high school. So even if she is, her chances of saying no to that and denying it is going to be higher. And then her mom's right there hyping up, like, yeah, I bag pads for her every single month. There's no way. She is still a virgin. That creates that hold up right there. She's not going to be comfortable to say it anyway. So I would never believe them. Never, ever, 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 ever. I feel like even times when I have been to the hospital complaining about things, I've been given, like, you know, urinalysis tests and stuff like that. And I know for a fact as an adult, there's no way I'm pregnant. But even still, like, Sorry, guys. Woo. But even still, like, hey, don't take my word for it. Test. Do what you gotta do. But yeah, I would have waited for the test to come back before attempting any type of treatment. Yeah, maybe I probably wouldn't even have gave her like Tylenol or something basic like that, just to kind of like help her initially. But I definitely wouldn't have gave her anything like drastic. Like no morphine, nothing crazy like that. And then also, once the test results came back, they waited to inform them of the results. And I definitely wonder that if they would have informed them like immediately, how this case would have been. Honestly, I feel like there wouldn't even be a case. I feel like had they informed them when the results first came back, then the cat would have been out the bag in front of her mother. So the outcome would have been different. I mean, her whole goal was to hide it. But once the results are exposed, there's really no more hiding. So then the hospital staff may have been able to help her and the baby. Like, I feel like, yeah, because when they come into you and they say, all right, so the results of your pregnancy tests are back and it is positive, you are pregnant. You can act disbelief like, oh my God, there's no way, Mom, I'm still a virgin. All right, get a couple of those out. And then it's like the doctor is like, all right, well, seriously, you're pregnant. What you're feeling like, you're full term, you're going into labor is what's happening. So let's forget about all this on top surface shit and let's move to the nitty gritty. You're going in labor, let's get you ready. And then once Mom would have saw grandbaby, she probably still would have been over there pissed while you're in labor. But like, once Mom would have saw grandbaby, she probably definitely would have softened up. Grandparents love their grandbabies. Like, it definitely probably would have been a lot for her in this one night finding out about that. But I honestly feel like had the hospital told them of the results immediately, it would have cut this a completely different way. Like, because I mean, what do? How can you still lie and say, I'm a virgin, I'm not pregnant? Because then what would they have done next? A blood test? But then if you would have been like, they would have been monitoring you. They should have been anyway. I got to the bathroom. Also, there was a bathroom in her room. So unhooking her and having her go to the bathroom in the hallway, I'm not really sure about that. Have her in her own room. And then maybe if they didn't direct her to the bathroom in the hall, they just let her use the bathroom in her own room. Maybe that would have been different because her mother is right there in the room with her. Like, what are you going to hear her going through all this distress in the bathroom? And of course, you're going to wonder, what the fuck is going on in there? Like, so imagine her, according to the way the blood spatter was on the wall, they said it was as if something was like ripped. So I believe that rip part was when she ripped like the attachment from herself and the baby with the umbilical cord, and blood probably splattered everywhere. So imagine her doing that and flushing the toilet all these times. Her mother would probably be in the room like, what is going on? Like, no, somebody opened this bathroom door, and it probably would have went different. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the hospital is at fault at all for the death of the baby? Again, I don't think so. I feel like they definitely had errors. Things they could have done differently. But as far as blaming them, like, it's their fault? No. I know people said because there was morphine in the baby system. I also watched on Court TV, there was an expert who said based upon the amount of morphine that was in the baby system, that was not enough to do anything to the baby. Like, that was clearly not an indicator or a contributor to the death of the baby. Like, it would not have been. They said even the weight loss medicine that she had been on, that was something that would have been more detrimental to the baby. But over time, they said if it being in a system where it was right now, it wouldn't have really done anything. You would have had to, she would have had to continue. I guess now the baby is born, it's not in you where it's getting the same things that you're getting. So I guess if the baby is born, you're giving the baby the weight loss drug over time, then eventually it would have an effect, but it wouldn't have gotten to that point. So according to that expert, he said the morphine would not have done anything to the baby. And I'm not an expert, but I agree with that expert, okay? So let me know what you guys think right down below in those comments. And then question number 3 kind of goes with number 2. Is this a case of murder or malpractice? In my opinion, it is hardcore cold murder done by Alexee. When she put that baby in that bag and she spun it, and the way the nurses and doctors described it, I knew exactly what the fuck they were talking about. Because when I go to the grocery store and I get like produce, I get like apples or like peppers and onions, I put them in that clear bag and then I spin it. And it gets really tight right here, and then I wrap it and yeah. Now, I don't think she tied it like that, but she spun it and then just like wrapped it and folded it over. You suffocated the baby. She kept saying nothing was crying, nothing. I hate that she says that, not the baby, or it wasn't. Even say it, nothing was crying, as if your baby is nothing. That is another thing that has always made me feel weird about this case. Like, it just came out and nothing was crying. Nothing was doing anything. Nothing. That's how you refer to your baby that you murdered, because I think it was murder. And according to the autopsy, medical examiners ruled that the baby was born alive. The baby did take breaths. So therefore, it was not due to any medication that would have been given. It was suffocation. It was asphyxiation, which is suffocation. I love saying that word because it's given so like forensic and true crime. Asphyxiation. But yes, that's what it was. So let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions on that. Was it murder? Was it malpractice? Is Alexee to blame? Is the hospital to blame? Do you think that she knew she was pregnant? Do you think her mother knew? Who is to blame in this situation? Let's get the conversation going below. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on this crazy case. And guys, if anybody is watching and you're a teen and you become pregnant, like, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. If you can't go to your parent and talk to your parent, find like somebody, you know, a good teacher or administrator at school who, you know, sometimes we be kind of cool with our teachers and stuff like that. Find somebody who is that you can talk to, and then we allow them to be a mediation between the two. Like, you know, I'm pregnant. I'm scared to tell my mother, you know, she's going to take it very bad. Can you help me do it? Like, and I'm pretty sure they would do that for you. I'm pretty sure they would fucking do that for you. Or find somebody, like, but something like this. And then the worst part about it is that the hospital that she had this baby at, Artesia General Hospital, it is what is known as a safe haven hospital. And if you don't know, a safe haven hospital are hospitals where if you do not want a baby, you can just bring your baby and drop it off with no questions asked. And they will make sure that your baby is taken care of and goes somewhere where your baby will be taken care of and fully loved. So if she would have had that baby in the bathroom, left it in there, and came out and said, I just gave birth in the bathroom, my mother didn't know I was pregnant, take the baby, I don't know what to do. I don't know if they would have came, because again, even though her mother keeps stressing, she's a senior, she's still a student, she's 19 years old. So at 19 years old, you are not legally a child. They legally do not have to discuss anything with your parent. They just have to discuss it with you because you are the patient. So had she had that ordeal, unfortunately, in the bathroom and came out without, you know, suffocating the baby, maybe just laid it on the floor or something and opened the door when the nurses were knocking and like, hey, help me. My mom can't know about this. Please take the baby. I don't know how it would have went after that. She would have found out in some way. I know she would have. I know. But like, they could have taken the baby. They would have made sure that your baby was safe and okay. This is a safe haven. That is what they do. And then also because you are over the age of 18, lawfully, that's your HIPAA. So if you say, I don't want my mother to know about this, legally they cannot tell her. So Alexee, you should just answer the door when they were knocking, baby. Like, oh my gosh. It's just so sad. Like, no pun intended. This is not a funny matter at all. This is a horrible case. Again, she was so young. Again, from accounts, allegedly, I'm not sure, has not been confirmed, allegedly, she was pregnant again. I think by now, like, she has given birth again. So prayers up to her and her family. And I hope that, you know, things do get better for her in life. And I'm sure this is a trauma that will be with her for the rest of her life. And she'll never forget that. Like, she murdered her own baby. Like, or contribute to it. So I know she would never forget that. But again, leave me all of your thoughts and opinions below. Make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share it with your friends. And let's get back into Mr. Francis Coppola and this Pinot Grigio with this 12.5 volume percent. Y'all, this is from the Diamond collection. Shine bright like a diamond. I like it. I'm fucking with it. If you tried this one with me, let me know your thoughts and opinions also. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you guys have any other one that you guys want me to try, any recommendations, please swing them my way. Any case recommendations, let me know. I'll be more than happy to dive into them for you guys. And don't forget, the next episode of Poor Decisions you can look for in 2 weeks. Not next week, but the week after. And then remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I almost forgot. I just talked about it, but I did not give you guys the rating. What you guys think I'm going to rate this? If you've been here since day one, I'm pretty sure that you know I'm going to rate this, y'all. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 3 cheers. I feel like I keep giving everything a 3 out of 3 cheers, but I like this. I'm really fucking with it. I like this. A 3 out of 3 cheers for me. Again, subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave your comments below, and make sure you check out our sponsor, Wine Girl, and follow us on Instagram at It's Poor Decisions. And until next time, make good choices and not poor decisions.